I will put this up the second half. It is now also we've gone on for 1 hour. So let's just take a break. I'm going to stop the recording actually. All right, you should be seeing my screen. And the words, you do not have to learn accent rules, but you must learn how certain words are accented for the sake of spelling, because certain words, if they have an accent, mean one thing. If they don't, they mean something else. What I mean by accent rules is a good portion of chapter 1 in the textbook explains the rules of accents, where they go on verbs, where they go on nouns. These rules are very complicated. And therefore, let me just take just a brief time with that. These rules are very complicated. They will tell you if you have a word like Daweed, sorry, I don't want the red. They will tell you why it is accented on the second syllable. So I'm going to write the word Daweed, Daweed. Okay. And this is a diphthong, Dow. Daweed. It's going to tell you, the accent rules will tell you why this is grave and in what situations it becomes circumflex, Daweed, and Daweed never has a acute. This is an acute accent, it's called. You don't need to know the names. I'm not going to ever ask you the names of the accents, but there are 3. And then we've already seen the little Easter bonnet. The accent rules. There's several pages in the first chapter of the book explaining the accent rules, and we won't learn those. We will only pronounce the words, and if it is important, let me come back to me. And if it is important to know the accent and its spelling, then you will note this in your vocabulary. And the words, you have to learn vocabulary words. In any language I learn, ab kaisa hai, me bhi theek hoon. I learn to pronounce them. I need learn to write them in Urdu scripts, which is what we are doing with Greek script. But how these are accented in Greek is very complicated. I will not ask you to memorize those rules, only to recognize the accents, that's all. We will not make a difference in pronouncing words with the 3 accents. We will simply accent the syllable. A syllable is part of a word. Daweed, 2 syllables. Notice Daweed. First syllable, Daw. Second syllable, Eid, Daweed. And I've accented the second syllable because that's where the accent mark was, as I showed you. But what happens when you have other words in the sentence and the accent changes? Those are rules. Those are complicated. We don't need them. We're not going to converse with the Apostle Paul. We're only going to read what he wrote. That is our purpose. So learning those rules is not necessary. Once more. All right, I want to share my screen again. I'll move on from this. But notice this word a is a diphthong. A means if. Notice the first word has a breathing mark over the second vowel because it is a diphthong. A, it means if. But this one has a circumflex accent along with a breathing mark, and this word means you are. I need to know how each one is spelled with the accent mark because it is important. All right, I omitted someone and lost someone. But I need to know spelling. All right. Looks like I'm at the end of this presentation, so I'm going to switch to a different one. Here, okay. Now we're going to add chapter 2. And in just a moment, I will show you the vocabulary at the end of chapter 1. It is in the, you should have seen it already. You should have it, but I will point it out to you again. You need to memorize that vocabulary and you need to start learning the vocabulary at the end of chapter 2. But for next week, you're only required to know the vocabulary at the end of chapter 1. I'll explain what I mean in just a moment. First of all, we need to review some English grammar. I don't know how much English grammar you know, but we will be learning some, reviewing some along with learning Greek grammar. What is a noun? N-O-U-N. It is the name of something. We have, you don't need to write this down. It's in your textbook. We have common or concrete nouns like lake, sheep. Actually, sheep is what we call a collective noun. People, sheep, because sheep can be one or sheep can be more than one. It is, it can mean a whole group or flock of sheep. We have abstract nouns like love, hope, righteousness. Concrete nouns are things that we see with our eyes. Abstract nouns are things that we feel or things that we hope for. We give those things a name as well. So we can say those are nouns. Nouns like light may be more than one. There is the light in my room. That is one kind of light. And there is the light of wisdom, the figurative way of using the word light. Ah, the light comes on. We understand. So they can be either one. And that is important to remember because sometimes in the Gospel of John, for example, he will use it in both ways. We have proper nouns. All of these nouns have short definitions. We call these short definitions glosses. A gloss is a short definition of a noun. It is wrong to say, for example, that the definition of agape, most people have heard of agape, the Greek word, that the definition is love. A gloss for agape would be love, But I would have to look at all the uses of the word agape in order to say, well, the definition is love. Because in different contexts, it might mean slightly something different. The word logos. Let me write it. Let me show the word. The word logos. Notice I put the accent over the first syllable. Logos, logos, logos. This word can mean, depending on the context, many different things. It can mean word, as a word in a sentence. It can mean a communication. I want to share a word with you. I won't mean just one word when I say that, but I mean a communication, many words. It can, in the Bible, it can mean an account. As an accountant keeps a logos, he keeps accounts. And we must give an account for our lives before our judge and creator. Thankfully, those of us who are in Christ have an advocate, and we are accepted before the Father through Jesus Christ, our advocate, our lawyer. But logos can mean many different things. So it is wrong to say logos means word. It is wrong to say the definition of logos is word. No, when we say at the end, when we learn vocabulary, we learn a gloss. And the gloss we learn for logos right now is word. It's all you have to know. So when you study the meaning of words in the vocabulary, you will be given a gloss. You will be given a meaning that represents probably the most common use of that word, but certainly that word may mean something else in a different context. You will also recognize, again, we are doing a cross-cultural study. Whenever we study a language, we are moving cross-culturally. We are getting to know the heart of people when we learn their language. It's no different in New Testament Greek, except that the heart of the people is 2,000 years ago. But God chose to speak through that people 2,000 years ago. And the way they use a word may be slightly different. We don't use the word, for example, logos, for an accountant keeping accounts, but they did. So we have to make adjustments. But we will learn a gloss. At the end of each, you will have at least one gloss, sometimes more than one, if a word has many, many different meanings. A full definition is in a lexicon, and it will give all the possible definitions. It is much broader than just one gloss. I'll skip over this. We don't worry about lexicon. We need to talk about verbs a little while. A verb tells us what is happening, occurring, existing. The Greek verb is a very important word. It is the action generally, but also can tell us what is occurring, what is existing. It is the motor of Greek communication. It is even stronger than English. Verbs are important in English. In Greek, they are even more important because they convey more information. and we will look later at these things. What we need to know now is from chapter 2, we need to recognize the stem of a verb and the ending of a verb. In the dictionary, you will find this word luo, which means I loose. Stop sharing just a moment. I'm going to share my whiteboard again. I'm going to erase. Leave my lines as much as I can. All right. A Greek verb consists of a stem and an ending. And the ending that we will find in every dictionary will be the omega. Or there is another group that has another ending. We won't worry about those right now. The basic Greek verb ends in omega. This verb means I loose. Actually, I'm going to ask you to translate preferably not the simple present, but the continuous present, which would be I am loosing. I am loosing. This is a simple present. This is the continuous present. The Greek present tense generally means the continuous present. However, in your textbook, he usually translates the present tense with the simple English present. So I will not count it wrong if you translate I loose. I prefer the continuous I am loosing because we will find that this is very important in understanding the communication to us in the New Testament, that generally the verb is conveying continuous action. But because the textbook uses the simple present, I will not count it wrong if you translate a verb with the simple present. Back to our, we're learning verbs. So we don't have augments. Augments are right now. We will have augments in the future. But augments are, we use the word augment, are prefixes on verbs. We don't have any right now. We just have the stem and the ending. Let's take another verb, akuo. Akuo means I hear. But if I put a different ending on, this ending is ace, it means you singular hear. Or even better, you are hearing. I am loosing, you are hearing. Now I'm going to go ahead and take all of the verbs from the end of chapter 2 in the textbook, and I'm going to add all of the endings of the present tense. And now I have 6 different verbs, and I also have 6 different endings. Luo, I am loosing. Akues, you are loosing. No, sorry, you are hearing. Lamban-e, he, she, it is taking or receiving. Esthi-amen, we are eating. Ech-ete, you plural. Notice this is singular, this is plural. You plural are having, or simple present, you have. You are having, or you have. And finally, hurisk usin, they are finding. This is called a movable nu. We use it only when the next word starts with a vowel. So you'll find hurisk usi, or sometimes hurisk usin if the next word starts with a vowel. Now, what is my job? My job and your homework is to learn the vocabulary at the end of chapter 1. Those are all nouns. Let's look at them. I hope I have them. Let's look at the words at the end of chapter 9. Just a moment. I think I made a mistake and I didn't get that document out beforehand. So I'm going to quickly find that document for us and open it. It is the chapters from the textbook. I'm sorry, I should have had this, but I will have it for you in just a moment. Book files, Mr. McIver. They're the first 2 chapters of our textbook. Chapters 1 and 2, okay. All right, go back here. So I'm going to share your screen. Here we are. All right, this is a document that you should have received. If you didn't, please let us know. This is a photocopy of the most important parts of chapters 1 and 2 in your textbook. Have you noticed at the bottom, I have McIver page 32. I have placed, by the way, this was used I'm teaching this Greek at our church. So that's why this says church. I should have changed the footer at the bottom, but I didn't get it changed. But McIver page 32, when you get your textbook, you will find out what this means. This means this information here is in chapter 32. Or let me get my spotlight back. This information is in chapter 32. And over here, I have to stop annotating, maybe. Here. Oh, no. On the other page, you have this chart, and you have actually a notebook I've sent to you. You need to complete this notebook. As you complete all the pages in the notebook in semesters 1 to 5 of New Testament Greek, you will eventually have a summary of all the grammar you need to know, and it will be in your own writing, and you'll be something that you can refer to for years to come. The third page is this chart right out of the book. This is also out of the textbook. It lists the letters, lowercase, uppercase, the name, the sound in English, the letter that we use to transliterate the uppercase, the lowercase, and the uppercase in English. So rho, uppercase rho, written R-H-O, rho, sound R. When we write this with English letters, we write small r. When we write this with English letters, we write uppercase R. Notice that P looks like This looks like an uppercase P, but it's not. Rho is an uppercase here, and the uppercase is R. So I'm going to go down here. This is all things we have looked at, but what I want to look at now is the vocabulary list at the end of the chapter. In McIver, page 35 and 36, notice here in the textbook, you have this list of words at the end of chapter 1. You need to practice pronouncing them, and you need to memorize them. Abraham is the word Abraham. Now, most of these are actually definitions. If they're the names of people, there are full definitions because there is no other meaning for Abraham except Abraham. David, David. Theos, God, or God with a small g. It can be a name. It could also mean simply a noun, gods that are worship, many gods. Theos, God. We have two spellings of Jerusalem, and we will find that one is location and one is theological in meaning. But this is the most common, and the location one, well, it's not the most common. This one is used 62 times. In the New Testament, this is used 71 times. This tells us the number of times this word is used. We pronounce this word Hierosaluma. Notice no diphthong. Hierosaluma. Accent, sol. Hierosaluma. There's also the word Jerusalem. You probably ask, why didn't I say Jerusalem? Because this becomes, in English pronunciation, simply Ye. Jerusalem. Jerusalem. The same here, Jesus, not Jesus, but Jesus. Iota with the next vowel, that's not a diphthong. See, it's not a diphthong. This is not a diphthong. Iota, eta. We only have 7 diphthongs. This is not one. Jesus, Jesus. Ioannes, not eo, but in English, we move from e to yo. Ioannes. This is only with iota that this happens. Ioannes, John. Petros, Peter. Christos, Christ or Messiah, the anointed one. So at the end of chapter 1 on pages 35 and 36 in the textbook, you have this list of words. At the end of each chapter or section, you have a list. And if I say you must learn these words, that means you need to be able to write them, spell them, pronounce them, and know their meanings. So for next time, if I give you a quiz, you will know all of these words. You will know how to spell them. You will know what their meaning is. Jesus, Jesus. So at the end of each chapter, you have vocabulary and you have exercises. Often in the homework, I will give you exercises. I'm not giving you exercises from chapter 1. That will not be your homework. But this will be your homework to learn this vocabulary. I suggest that you write vocabulary word cards. Keep them with you wherever you go and use your time, because it takes time to memorize words. I have a whole list of cards of Urdu words. Up, I can't think of them now. teak, and so on. I have a list of Hebrew words. I have my old list of Greek words. In fact, I bought, you can buy them, but it's better just to write your own. Write the Greek on the front side and the English gloss on the back side so you can memorize them. Use your time. Don't cram in this course. Learn some each day. 1 hour each day is much better than 10 hours the day before. Why? Repetition. Now, there's also a program. Let me write it down for you. And I always forget which one of these is the right one. Okay. There's also a program you can get for your phone, and I think it's still free. The last time I checked, it is called Quizlet. Quizlet. It is a free app for your phone, and you can get Greek words, and you can practice on your phone. I am a much older generation, and I like to write cards and use cards. I like to have something in my hand. You like to have, most of you like to have your phones in your hand. I'm not good with my phone, as Masood can tell you. I am very slow writing messages with my phone. So I don't use my phone so much as you do. But you can get this program for your phone and it will help you. I don't know how to work it, so you will need to practice working it and use it to memorize. Now, I want to take just a second to break into groups. And I want you to let's see, what can we post on, I'll post this document on WhatsApp. That's what I will do. And I would like for you to take the time to, let's see, we are section B, right? I'm going to post this document. I want you to, you should have it already, but just in case you don't, let's see, video files, McIver. Okay, download it, and I want you to practice saying the words at the end of chapter 2, end of chapter 1. Let's see, chapters 1 and 2. I'm not getting them. Here, it's a PDF. All right. All right, you should have it on WhatsApp, and hopefully you'll be able to open it. And now what I want you to do is take the list of words at the end of chapter 1 and pronounce them to each other. Practice pronouncing them. And if you get finished with that, you can practice writing them. And then I would like for you to practice writing the words. Let's see. At the end of chapter 2. No, I took the wrong one. Sorry. This is not what I wanted to share. Stop sharing. Share screen. Okay. In this document, you'll see this vocabulary. practice saying these words to each other. Practice pronouncing them. Hierosaluma, Jerusalem, Jerusalem. Practice saying those. When you finished, then and you go down to the end of chapter 2. And at the end of chapter 2, in this text, in your textbook, you will have a vocabulary 2, a new list of words that are all verbs. These are the verbs that I've been using. And I would like you to practice pronouncing those. Akuo. Grafo, I write. Esthio, I eat. Actually, I prefer I am eating, but esthio, I eat. Eurisco, I find. Simple present is also acceptable. So practice saying these words. So this is on at the end of chapter 2, the list of vocabulary words. So practice writing, practice speaking, sorry. If you finish speaking, then you can practice writing. But practice speaking, pronouncing these words, and also the meaning. Okay, it looks like I have to do something in order to get there. Oh, here I am. Okay, I'm back. All right, you should have the document on WhatsApp. So practice in your groups now. Back into groups for just about 3 minutes and practice speaking these words, pronouncing these words to each other. One person says a word and the meaning, and the other person says a different word and the meaning. We'll go into your groups, please. You have to join your group. Please join your group. There's a link in the, is it the left corner, Masood? Where is the link?
Yes. Yes.
In the upper left corner?
Yes.
In the upper left corner of your screen, there should be a little link to your room. Join your room.
I'm showing twice.
Sorry?
What is going on? My name is showing up twice.
Oh, it is.
I'm
It's
seeing
true.
on my screen. Is it really?
Well, I guess you are a very important person.
Really? What is happening?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Do you think that they can see the,
Arun, hello, brother Harun. Can you hear us? Or you are just showing your name and not here? And so some folks didn't send me the homework of this section.
well, I'll have to be reminded. We won't count them wrong this time. Mr. Harun, I don't know if you can hear me, but you need to click in the upper left corner and join your group. Well, I'd rather have you twice, Masood, than once, than not at all.
Yeah, I think Harun is not here, and just his name is showing up.
Did last time we didn't actually make a sentence, a third person singular and third person plural of words with, we just learned the verb itself. That's all, right? I don't think we learned to put nouns with verbs. I need to make notations, but I forget to write what I did in one class. I'm going to have to make sure we stop at the same point in the other class, a section, I mean. Chapter 2 in the textbook, um, chapter 2 in the textbook only covers, yeah, you are still listed twice. Chapter 2 in the textbook only covers the verbs and the present tense. It does not put words together, as in um, Peter hears or Peter is hearing, right? That's chapter 3. Or in chapter 2, are we putting words together? No. Chapter 3, we do that. We're just learning the present tense of verbs.